Welcome to Brain Wrestling. My name is Derek Christopher. I am here, of course, with my compadre, Walter Jacobson. Walter, good to see you.
Good to see you too, sir.
We're trying something different because we want to keep this thing going on a regular, like weekly basis. So we're actually shooting it online so we can be a little more current and come to you weekly.
Absolutely. I mean, I have so many offensive things I want to say.
Well, look, all I know is that I took my ketamine already just because I need to disassociate myself with your reality of talking about things. You know, I actually want to talk about the Democratic, speaking of disassociating with reality, I want to talk about the Democratic National Convention coming up this week. But before we get that, what the fuck with Matthew Perry? I mean, how does that happen that he's got family, he's got friends, he's been through rehab? No one sees this. No one notices that he's taking $55,000 in cash and buying 55 vials of this stuff. I mean, how does that happen?
You know, it's very odd. People can't, I mean, drug addicts can hide stuff from people. I mean, that's what their forte is in a way. But it reminded me of Belushi. When John Belushi overdosed, right? He was at the Chateau Marmont with Robin Williams and De Niro was there, and they were watching him kill himself, basically. And everyone knew for months, if not years, that he was going to overdose someday, that he had a serious drug problem because he's a big star. They said, no, we're not going to say anything. We're not going to do anything. I think that's what happened with this guy.
But how sick are the people that are around him? I mean, did you see some of those, the texts and emails that went by, like, how much will this moron pay? I mean, they completely took advantage of him. They should be charged with murder, as far as I'm concerned.
Which people are you talking about?
His doctor, his assistant, everybody that gave him and got him these drugs.
Oh, I absolutely agree. This was not a medical intervention. This was not a therapeutic intervention. This was a drug dealer.
Well, and the fact that the woman was known as the ketamine queen. I mean, if you're in the business long enough to get a nickname, how is it that you're not in jail already?
Yeah. People knew this. Like everything in our society, there's like a whole layer of people who know what the hell is going on, and no one's going to open their mouths because they don't want to like tip the apple cart, and everyone's getting a piece of the action in some way or another, some advantage to keeping the story going. So all these people, a ton of celebrities are taking all sorts of drugs, right? So this guy though was so stupid. I still put some responsibility on him.
Absolutely. I mean, he takes a brunt of the responsibility. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was taking, just like Michael Jackson knew, just like John Belushi knew. And to say that these guys aren't responsible themselves is complete bullshit.
Absolutely. And the fact that he writes a book talking about how he's overcome the addiction and it's so wonderful to be, to be free of addictions. But meantime, he's like stirring up the pot in his hot tub. Yeah, not good.
Walter, you are my human ketamine. Speaking.
Well, let me just say, because that was very sweet of you, but let me just say something. You light up my life.
You give me hope. Okay. Speaking of hope.
Yes, sir.
Democratic National Convention this week. You got Biden talking the first day, Obama the second day, Clinton. I don't know what kind of shape Bill Clinton is in. Bill Clinton used to be an incredible speaker, but he seems to have aged quite a bit. And then Kamala takes on
It's going to be a great Hollywood production. It's going to be a great propaganda production. It's going to be a great bullshit to continue to program and con the people into thinking she gets it. She's good.
Why is it conning the people? Wait, why do Republicans have people like Kid Rock and I don't know who else, like Roseanne, and the Democrats get Clooney and Spielberg and is it, Democrats, I thought it was supposed to be class warfare. That the Democrats
I'll tell you why, because the Republicans or people on the right who are celebrities and big stars, for the most part, are reluctant to say anything because they want to work in Hollywood, and they will be censored and they will be basically canceled and erased if they have too big of a profile. But the point is, the Democrats are bringing out their big guns basically to fool the American people into thinking that something different is going to happen with this person when it's going to be the same exact bullshit as Biden with open borders and no bail and anarchy and chaos and inflation.
Okay, look,
and wokeness and equity and bullshit like that.
Listen, I agree with a lot of that, but you have to give Kamala credit. The fact that she has reinvented herself and the party within a matter of weeks.
I don't give her
phenomenal.
False. I don't give her credit. I give the puppet masters credit.
Who are
because
are we going to the shadow government?
no, it's not the shadow government. It's like Obama and Clinton and all these
You really-
Democrats. Who do you think's been? Who do
Do
you
you really
think's
think Obama gives a shit? Obama, retired. We have Obama was what, in his early 50s when he was last president. He doesn't give a shit. That guy's vacationing, spending his millions of dollars.
You
having a good
are
time. He
so
can't be
you are
bothered.
so wrong that he doesn't give a
Give me
shit.
what proof do you have that he actually is running the? I mean,
Him coming out repeatedly saying that this is a critical time in our democracy and we are.
It is.
And yeah, it is from them. It's
But-
not from the left. It's not from the right.
but then why not
Republicans are
keep-
not the problem with fascism.
Here's where you're
The
wrong.
left
Here's
is.
where you're wrong. Here's where you're wrong. Why, if they were looking for a puppet, why would they just not keep Joe Biden in there? Why would they just not leave Joe Biden in there?
Because the polls indicated without a doubt that he was losing all the key states. He was definitely going to lose, and so they knew that they had to make a shift. Why do you think they brought the first debate so much sooner than normal? So that he could fail and they could replace him.
But how could they possibly know? Everybody hated Kamala Harris. Everybody hated her. I mean, she had terrible ratings. Nobody liked her. And all of a sudden they say, okay, we're going to get rid of this old guy who was talking to a wall. And we're going to put in this woman that nobody likes. And
yes, and isn't it fascinating that 4 weeks later, with their political propaganda, mainstream media bombardment of lies, propaganda, censorship, now she's like Mother Teresa, 100%. Everyone loves her. That shows you that there's that programming and propaganda works.
No, but I will tell you, it's all about how the parties operate too, because in the last week, I've gotten 4 or 5 mailers in the mail from Donald Trump. Like, obviously, he's spending a lot of money on these mailers. Half of them are send me money, send me money, send me money. The other half of it is the Democrats suck, they're evil, they're this, they're socialists, they're communists. Now, on the flip side, I get like 10 emails from Kamala and Tim Walz, and it's all love and peace and everything is great.
Course.
And we're gonna change our government. Here's some gifts you can put on your social media. It is such a completely different way of approaching
I know,
the campaign.
but you have to realize that that's part of their game. That's part of their propaganda. Now
You think they're that brilliant?
She's not anything. It's the DNC.
It's the same people.
It's the same people as Biden, and they decided that they need all of his money. They need his electorate. So they decided to do a quick flip, and they decided they could fool people into
Wait a minute.
No, the person they hated 4 weeks ago is now better than white bread. Look, the point is they're making her look like, oh, she gets it. They get it. They're full of joy and love and light. Trump is evil. No, Trump is evil and dark and terrible. I guarantee when they're elected, they will continue the same propaganda, equity, no borders, bullshit, and we're going to suffer more. That's the distinction.
Do you think Trump is evil, dark, and terrible? Personally, as a human being.
Yeah.
He is. Now, do you think, for months on this show, you were talking about Joe Biden going to cognitive decline and all these issues. Do you not see the exact same thing with Trump? Has this not put a spotlight on his age that he is completely incapable?
Okay, first of all, I do not see the exact same situation. I do not believe that Trump has dementia. Now, he may
really.
He may have cognitive decline and all sorts of other bullshit going on. But I think really the biggest thing is his personality disorder. His impulsivity, his inability to filter himself, all the shit that we know about him. But look, that's not the point. The point is not.
It is the point.
No, it isn't. Let me finish. The point is not who do you think is a better human being. The point is not orange.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. It's ideology. We're voting for ideology. Trump is corrupt.
Ideology is what has destroyed politics in this country.
That's right, because it's the Democrat ideology of DEI and wokeness that is destroying our democracy, and their propaganda and censorship and using the mainstream media and high tech to censor stuff. It's ideology. If you vote for Trump, you're not voting for Trump. You're voting for closed borders. You're voting for hopefully an end to inflation.
You're voting for Project 25.
An end to no bail.
You're voting for Project 2025.
No, that's not true. If you vote for Kamala Harris, what you're voting for is a continuation of everything that's happened. She didn't reinvent herself. They did.
Let me ask you something. How's the economy doing, Walter?
Look, there are many people who are
You're not
very,
answering the question. How's the economy doing?
for
Let me
me,
ask you something. How much has your house increased in the last 4 years?
I
How much
don't,
has your retirement account increased in the last 4 years? If you had a job, if you had a house, and if you had bank accounts, you know what? You're in pretty good shape.
let
It's
me just,
only the you go ahead.
okay, first of
Tell me I'm
all,
wrong.
you're wrong. You may be you may be right about you may be right about you know, houses and this and that and all sorts of economic things that's indicators
That
that
matter? That matter?
yeah, no, but
Yeah.
people are still tremendously suffering with multiple jobs, people having to go back to work after retirement.
And you think Trump can solve that?
Not no. Look, see, you made it. You did an interesting pivot and deflection from the issue.
That's my specialty.
I know you created it. Now the thing is, it's not about. It's not about the. It is about the economy, but it's also
only about the economy.
Well, it should also be about open borders because that affects the
Oh,
economy.
I agree. By the way, we had the least amount of people coming over the border that we've had in 4 years.
And you know why?
Because Kamala Harris.
Because they decided they have to have the optics looking really good just before the election.
Of course, that's politics.
That's right. And once the election is done, those borders are going to open up again. They're going to flood all these like illegal immigrants from all over the world, gang members, drug dealers. It's all going to happen again. And they're going to turn us into a third world country. They're going to do everything they've promised.
Like California? California is a third world country, basically.
Nobody knows what Harris is really like. Nobody knows. Have you heard what her definition of equity is?
Okay, but have
you heard what her definition of equity is?
What's her definition of equity?
Yeah. Some people are disadvantaged at the beginning, so we have to give them a leg up. And then we take from the rich, give to them, and everyone ends up the same. This is called communism. And this is not equity. This is communism.
So then tell me what Trump's
you know,
give me Trump's definition of equity.
In Minneapolis, during the Black Lives Matter stuff, this idiot Walz let Minneapolis burn for 3 days. He said it's good because a lack of equity caused this violence, and it's a reset. So it's good that we're burning down, and it's good that people are getting killed and murdered because it's the reset that society needs.
And who called Governor Walz and said, you are doing a great job, you're being strong, you're showing them how it's done, you're getting things done? Donald fucking Trump called him and told him what a great job he was doing. So tell me hold on. Tell me what Trump's definition of equity is then.
I don't know, but what I do know is that Walz.
Well, how are you going to make an informed decision?
I do know that Walz is progressive, a very progressive and dangerous.
Yeah, I agree.
And a liar, and an incredible liar.
Okay.
And the point is, though, you got two people in power now. So if something happens to her, this old white guy who's actually only 60, but
he's the same age.
I know, but he looks like
he's still 20 years younger than Trump.
He looks like he's 80 years old, and
he does look like he's 80 years old.
A total fool. But the bottom line is,
why is he a fool? Is he a fool because he's an old white guy?
No, he's a fool because of his ideology.
Hold on, you want to talk about?
Do you know that during COVID, he tried to get people to
completely screwed it up.
People who didn't want to follow the fascist rules about staying inside.
Can we talk about old white guys that are fools? Your guy, RFK Jr., runs to Trump, begs for a job, says, I'll give you my endorsement if you give me a job. Trump says no. There's evidence of that. There's video of him doing it. Then, because he doesn't get a cabinet job there because he knows his campaign's in the shitter, he runs to Kamala Harris last week and says, give me a job in the cabinet and I'll give you my endorsement. And then she doesn't get it either. And now he's shit-talking Kamala Harris saying, oh, it's not the party of my family. It's big government and all this stuff. It's like, fucker, you went to Kamala Harris on your hands and knees and you were ready to give her a BJ.
What's your point?
My point is, everybody is a hypocrite. The Republicans, the Democrats, the independents, they're all fucking hypocrites.
Okay, so first of all...
And you know what? You're telling me a lot about what you think is wrong about Harris and Walz. You're not telling me what you think was right about Trump. Why do you think Trump will be a better choice for this?
He'll close the border.
That's it?
That's, for me, that's enough.
You don't mind if he institutes Project 2025?
He's not going to. That's
why?
Fear.
Why?
That's fear and propaganda.
You know why? Because 90% of the people involved with that have worked or are working with him.
It's bullshit.
It's not bullshit.
Propaganda.
Walter, there's a reason 40 out of 44 of his cabinet members won't endorse him. There's a reason not a single Republican vice president, except for Sarah Palin, who's a complete moron.
Look,
and J.D. Vance actually polls less than Sarah Palin for being a complete idiot.
Let's turn this into a very binary on-off discussion. 4 years ago,
I'm non-binary, Walter.
You look kind of cis to me.
That's when I put up the J.D. Vance pictures of him in a woman's outfit.
Oh dear. Well, hopefully no pictures of him humping the couch.
Did you see Corin Lewandowski, who's now running Trump's campaign, put his first statement out was that he told everybody to get off the couch.
Well, I mean,
these are you want running the country.
Ultimately, these are not bright people on both sides. I agree.
All of them. I agree.
And I agree. They're all hypocrites. That's why the binary position for me is, look, we had Trump for 4 years. During those 4 years, I was not worrying about wars or borders or illegal immigrants or no bail or crime in the streets or inflation. 4 years later, with Biden, Harris in charge, the DNC in charge, pulling these puppet strings, we have deteriorated in multiple ways. We are an incompetent government. They don't know how to run the government, and their progressive woke shit caused the inflation, all that money spent on green shit, and then they never built any electric chargers. They got windmills that don't work. It's they're incompetent. So what do you want? You want to go back to what we had, which was good, or you want 4 more years of the
when was it good?
These guys are giving us.
When Trump took office, I mean, we were somewhat normal when Obama was in there. When Trump came in, he completely screwed up the equilibrium of this country.
I don't care what he did. All I know is that
you have to hear what he did, because
during those 4 years, whatever he did, at the point at which he left and they showed up, downhill every which way. Biden, the first thing Biden did when he came in was to tear down the wall, neutralize the borders. That has had massive economic, political, sociological impact. Criminals, drug dealers, everything. These people are evil. And you know what they say? They say, well, if you want to have scrambled eggs, you got to scramble a few eggs. If you crack a few eggs, if you want to, they believe their ideology is so important of having one big melting pot of criminals that therefore you should be okay that collateral damage to people getting raped and murdered in the streets.
But you still haven't told me why you think Trump will be better.
Because he was better.
He wasn't better.
He was. Look at this now.
He completely mismanaged COVID. He's the one, people forget, Trump is the guy that was sending out the free checks to everybody, that kept saying, let's send him more money, let's send him more money.
I agree.
Hold on. He's the one that came up with the vaccine. Remember, I want to call it the Trumpzine. It's the Trumpzine. He's the one that said, everybody, we got to get it out there. We got to get it out there. We got to get it out there. You got to take it. You got to take it. Then that guy gets COVID and almost drops dead, hides that fact from the American public, hides the fact how sick he is.
Okay, I will agree with you that his handling of the COVID was horrendous, and the warp speed to get vaccines that were experimental, dangerous, and ineffective was very problematic. Wait a second, I'll let you talk. But once Biden showed up, then he then went to the next level in terms of trying to get military people and hospital people fired if they did not get the vaccine.
I agree.
He did a lot of damage to people, and so many things that he did were fascist, and he tried to put people in jail, doctors in jail for just using ivermectin, which they now are admitting was a drug that works and was not. And was demonized as horse shit, which was a lie. They did worse. Biden came in and made it a whole lot worse.
There's no way to know what the results are going to be of this vaccine, because it's barely been around.
We already know.
It's going to take 10 years. But wait, why aren't you going on a soapbox about all the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs that increase your chance of stroke 30 to 40%? Why aren't you going on and on? Hold on. Why aren't you going on about Wegovy and Ozempic that are giving people strokes? Why don't you talk about birth control pills? All these things that contribute to the downfall of their health, including increase in stroke, which is exactly what they're talking about that the COVID vaccination did. Why aren't those important?
Okay, first of all, I love everything you said. And
Of
I agree
course.
I agree with everything you said. All these things are incredibly important, and I agree with everything you said about the stroke and the
We should
NSAIDs.
just end the show here then.
Look, the pharmaceutical companies, that's their business, to create diseases and then create drugs that actually don't work as
Yeah,
effectively and have side
absolutely.
effects and cause all sorts of problems. They're all about the money, and people get hurt in the process. The difference between why I'm not on a soapbox about those things right now, and we can have a discussion at some other time about that. The reason why I'm on the soapbox about the COVID vaccines is because there is a lot of evidence of not just strokes and heart attacks and myocarditis. There's so many injuries from these vaccines and deaths, and they don't work.
But how do you know? How do you
Wait a
know
second.
that's not related to the other the other
You don't
medications people are taking?
You don't remember when Biden and Obama and all these people came out and said, if you get the vaccine, you won't get COVID. I know people who got the vaccine and 4 boosters had COVID 3 times. This is bullshit to think these were
But
effective. And
But
they're
how
so
do you know it
dangerous.
didn't help them? How do you know it didn't keep the symptoms at bay?
That's the argument that people make who are
Is that a fair argument?
No, you're uninformed.
Why? Wait, why is that not a fair argument?
I have repeatedly sent you data showing all the research articles proving that these vaccines are dangerous and have killed. All the numbers, you don't even look at them. Because
I could send you the same paperwork about Vioxx and these other things. It'll say the exact same thing.
You don't look at this stuff because you
So tell me, inform me, inform everybody.
You're in a tunnel vision. You've been programmed to think that the government took care of you with the COVID and the vaccine.
No, not at all. No. Look, the only reason I took the vaccine was because when my parents were alive, they were older and they were into it and they took it and I did it out of them. When my parents passed, I stopped taking the fucking thing because I thought,
would you do that? Why would you do that? A vaccine that would help you if you got COVID, it would help you to not get COVID. Why would you not take it?
You know what? Because my parents were old school and they felt that it was going to protect them, and I was with them.
No, but why? Once they're gone, why would you not continue to take it?
Because you know what? Because unlike you, I still believe in the mask, and I think if you just wore the mask, you'd be fine.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Folks. Where are you? What is going on here? You can't be serious.
You don't believe in the mask?
Of course not. They're pointless. They don't do anything. People are wearing masks now while they're walking down the street. That's you. It makes no sense.
I don't wear it on the street. I wear it on an airplane. I wear it in a crowded room. I'm not wearing it in the, when I see people driving in cars by themselves with the mask, I think you are a fucking lunatic.
The masks are not a prevention of getting COVID. They may reduce the
But the Japanese people have been wearing masks for decades.
I can't believe you stopped taking this vaccine that was safe and effective and decided the mask would do it all. That makes no sense to me.
Well, but you know what? A lot of life doesn't make sense. What works for you doesn't work for me. I mean, you taking the horse drug and all that doesn't make sense to me either.
It's not a horse drug.
I know
that's the propaganda.
When I say that
was at the MSNBC propaganda. It's horse paste. The fact is, it's a medicine that's been used for a very long time for malaria and other diseases, other uses, and it's used on human beings, independent of being a paste for horses and fungus or whatever.
Okay, I want to take a left turn here. I want to ask you something about this. The other day, Trump talked about how
I don't like you saying a left turn.
A left. Okay, we'll make a right turn.
Okay.
Yeah, better than entering in the rear. So Trump said that the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is given to civilians, is better than the Medal of Honor, which is given to military heroes, military people who've given up their bodies, given up their lives, because all the people that get the Medal of Honor are shot up or they're dead. And he says the people that get the Presidential Medal of Freedom are beautiful and they enjoy life. How fucked up is this mentality that he is shitting? Again, this goes back to Trump having absolutely zero respect for anybody in the military, for any of our forces, because he thinks that they are losers that give up their life so he can do what he wants to do. So he can go bang people on the side. He can cheat on his wives. He can bankrupt companies.
I agree. That was incredibly idiotic and lame and stupid. And it just...
And is this who you want representing the United States of America? That guy?
Excuse me. It reflects his It does reflect his ego, his narcissism, and his like incredible, personality disorder issues. In terms of, is this somebody I want to represent me? No. Is Harris somebody I want to represent me? No. Who do I think will do the greatest? Whose ideology do I think will do the greatest damage?
Are you still thinking RFK is your guy?
No. Who do I think will do the greatest damage to our country over the next 4 years? The Democrats, for sure, 100%, because they have shown what they're capable of doing, and it has failed us. And they will continue to fail us because they're insane and they're fascists and they don't believe in democracy, and they do the projection. The Republicans are going to get rid of democracy. He's going to get rid of democracy. They've already destroyed. They've already destroyed. Guess what? Democracy is already over. No. Don't you get it? It's Big Brother is here now. Our dystopian future is here now. You can't stop these.
I want the Republicans in office. I just don't want Trump in office. I don't want a guy that thinks that. I don't want a guy that thinks he's the supreme leader.
And you've fallen into their trap.
No, you've fallen. Well, hold on. You send me so many emails and texts or whatever it is, and you repeat verbatim the shit that I keep hearing on.
No. That's not
Newsmax.
That's not.
DNC.
That's not true.
Well,
that's not true.
It's the same stuff. You just repeated verbatim.
Look, the problem with this election is exactly what you just pointed out. I don't mind Republicans. You probably don't like MAGA Republicans, but I don't mind Republicans.
I love Republicans. I'm a Republican.
Yeah, but I hate MAGA Republicans, and I don't want Trump. That's what the power people have done, is to make it a choice of identities and not ideologies.
No, that's ideology. Trump is all about ideology.
I don't want Trump no matter what.
Because Trump.
Wait a second. Let me finish. People are saying, I don't want Trump no matter what, so I'm going to vote for the Democrat. However, the problem is that the Democrat agenda is going to kick your ass. So just because you hate Trump and he's an idiot, you're still going to vote against your interests by voting for these people who are liars.
Walter, the truth is, when we had dinner the other week, I told you this then. The truth is, it doesn't matter who's in office, a Democrat, a Republican, independent. It's not going to affect you and I too much. And it's not going to affect most people very much. It becomes a very emotional thing.
Not this week. Maybe not this month, maybe not this year, but another 4 years of open borders, you're going to see.
I agree. The open borders have been a disaster. Even Obama says that they're a disaster.
Well, the disaster is also the fact
hold on.
They want to give citizenship and voting rights to all of these people without vetting any of them. And they want to give free health care to all these people while veterans are in the streets.
Yeah, which is exactly what we do in California.
These people are insane.
And we do that in California and have a $60 billion deficit because we spend $30 billion towards illegal aliens and giving them health care and giving them school and giving them food and everything.
And that's going to continue, and that will bankrupt us more than anything else.
But hold on. If Obama's running the country and Obama's been one of the most vocal opponents of having open borders, why hasn't he done anything then? You said earlier, he's running the country, and he's been going off on Joe Biden that you need to close the borders. Why hasn't it been done then if Obama's running everything? Aha!
No, my impression is that Obama and Pelosi and the Clintons are a very strong cabal that influences the DC and their politics. I think that's clear. Now, is he ultimately?
That's clear.
Is Obama ultimately like the puppet master? Maybe not. I don't know. All I know is that whoever's pulling the strings and running our country for Biden will be running our country for Harris, and we will have the same shit happening and more Big Brother until one day it will matter to you and I. If they take our guns, what do you think is going to happen? That's what she said. She said she wants to confiscate our guns.
I'm gonna segue into if it matters or not, and we'll wrap up on this discussion. I don't know if you remember on a previous show, I talked about old family friend Bill, who passed away.
Yes.
And so Bill, older guy, he was 80. He just turned 87 2 weeks before he died. And it was his choice to get off of oxygen in the hospital when he died. Gay guy, his partner died 8 months ago. They had plenty of money, millions of dollars. They didn't leave it to anybody. So Bill died 4.5 months ago. and his house has already been purchased by somebody else, and somebody else is living in it. So here's a guy that lived 87 years, had no other real family to leave it to, left it all to USC, which was a huge mistake, because I said, if you're going to leave it to USC, at least make a scholarship in your name. But he just left it to them in the general fund. Huge mistake. USC came in, as far as I know, sold everything. They had an estate sale, sold all of his items, sold the house, and it's almost like he didn't exist. That a man that was alive on this, and he was a lovely guy. He was a sweet, sweet, sweet man. And he, for 87 years, he lived, he made people laugh, he had a good time. And now he's gone. 4.5 months later, it's like the guy never existed. How fucked up is that? And if people really thought about their lives and what's important today, they might change the way they live their lives.
Okay. I was waiting for the point, quite frankly.
My point is
that the state will come, that if you will let them, the state will come in and emasculate you and take everything you got.
No, my point is, you have to find a purpose in life that's worth living today. Who knows? I mean, we talked about this before. I don't know if there's an afterlife. I don't know what happens afterwards. This could be it. This could be it. When you're dead, that's it. You just cease to exist.
Well, what does his story have to do with this idea of live for today? Live for now.
Live for today, because you know what? They had inherited all this money literally like a year ago.
And he sat on it and did nothing with it?
And they had all these plans. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And they get a chance to do anything.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now I see your point is he had amassed great wealth and then he basically did nothing with it. He could have done great works with it and really enjoyed his life and maybe not killed himself, but instead he just,
you said he did kind of kill himself, I guess. Yeah.
And so instead he squandered an opportunity and then basically the government came in and took everything. I agree with you.
But you know what? I don't think,
a
week before before he got pneumonia, I don't think he intended to take his life. I think he was in the hospital. He got depressed. And I agree with you that the doctors probably should have said something before they let him just get off of oxygen. Because I saw him a day before. He was getting much, much better. He would have been fine in a couple more days.
Yeah. Well, doctors used to be here. Now they're over here. You know what I mean? It's like everything else. There has been a decay in the work ethic. There has been a decay in competence across the board.
There's a decay in humanity.
Or a doctor. Everything is descending into like chaos and ignorance and stupidity. And it's unbelievable.
And it's not changing.
No, it's getting worse. It's getting worse. And what they do is all the media and everything is they get us fighting with each other, right and left, and angry and pick, but Trump this, but she that, but he this, but they that. So that, but in the background, as to your point, they're still doing the strings and causing the mess that we're in. And we have really no say. It's not a democracy. It's a game that they're playing and we're the pawns.
Well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you some of my happy Kamala gifts that she sent me. So you can post those this week as the DNC happens.
Oh, man, there's no way I'm watching that piece of thing.
You got to watch it because next week we're going to do a complete autopsy of the DNC convention.
If I have to watch it? Oh, my God.
You have to watch it. It's your homework.
Okay. All righty. Will do.
All right. As always, a pleasure.
Likewise, sir. Thank you very much.
I'm Derek Christopher, Walter Jacobson. We'll see you guys next week.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You can't handle the truth.